DC Future State has had a lot of series come out of it, but something we don't always see talked about or highlighted are some of the amazing non-headline stories that come along with them. If the main story just isn't your cup of tea, you might actually be surprised to find that one of the extra stories is. And you may even find that you like the side stories in some series far better than any of the other main series in the event. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Join me today as we explore some of these standout stories as we count down the top 10 Future State side stories better than the main title, or in some cases on par with some really extraordinarily main title stories, which in and of itself is a big achievement in my opinion. These are the stories that we feel deserve to be read, even if you might otherwise pass on the main title attached to them. And before we jump into this, just to let you know, there isn't really any major spoilers in this list, so if you aren't familiar with Future State and you want to kind of know more about it, this is a really good list for you. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10, Recon. I just love how short and yet massive this story is. It helps to tie together some of the events we've seen out in space and features Green Lantern Hal Jordan recounting everything he has seen. His mission is to try and reach the fellow Green Lanterns and get the message to the Green Lantern Corps about all of the chaos out in the galaxy. As he describes it, everything the Corps sacrificed to give the universe peace and security, it's all coming apart. The art by Dexter Soy also lends to this desperate sense of urgency in the story. You can feel it in the line work. When Hal arrives at his destination, he realizes he's too late, but there is still one surprise left waiting around the corner for him. Oh, I forgot to mention who wrote it. But yeah, because I didn't include those in the script, here is the colorist and the writer for that one. Number 9, Time and Effect. While some were disappointed by the promise of the main story of Future State Superman Worlds of War, especially in issue number 1, there is a side story in there that you can still be sure to enjoy. And that's the new Mr. Miracle story, Shiloh Norman. At least I believe that's his name. Time and Effect, which also takes place on Warworld. Although we don't see Clark in this story, he is mentioned in it. And we do get to see Midnighter in it, so there's that. The events of the story also even come with a note about when it takes place in continuity. Thanks, Associate Editor Brittany Holzer. Appreciate notes like that. Time and Effect is written by Brandon Easton with art by Valentine Delandro and colors by Marissa Louise. And before we move on to this next spot, just a quick reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. It really does help us out here at the channel. Number 8, The Book of Guy. As action-packed and nail-biting as the main story in Future State Green Lantern is, there are a few that I just find more interesting. I'm sorry, I said it. I love John Stewart though. They tend to dive into what some of your other favorite lanterns were up to when everything went dark, or have been up to since then. One of those lanterns that we get to pop in on is Guy Gardner, who happens to be trying to talk aliens out of fighting one another when his ring stops working. Unable to understand them anymore, Guy finds himself stranded and kind of has to learn their alien language the hard way by trial and error and pointing and all the things, as opposed to relying on the power of his ring. He ends up becoming the revered prophet during his 5-year-long stay, and yeah, the story is just really hilarious. A nice bit of humor amidst the rest of the book and world of Green Lanterns, which in Future State is all pretty dark. I mean, definitely dark in terms of powers, because we don't have those right now. Number 7, Gotham City Sirens, Ladies' Night Out. I mean, you know I can't resist a good supervillain team-up story, especially when our villains are banding together to still act bad, but for the sake of saving others. I love it. Sometimes you have to be a little bad to be good, you know what I mean? And that's usually the case with Gotham City Sirens, this story being no exception. Gotham City Sirens is written by Paula Sevenbergen and Rob Haynes, with art by Emanuela Lupacino and Wade Von Grawbadger, and colors by John Cleese. Here we see Poison Ivy and Catwoman team up in an effort to expose tech mogul Dax Dilton, helping to end the Magistrate's reign and strengthen the resistance. They ally themselves with Dee Dee, Dilton's latest invention, the domestic droid. Get it? DD? Offering her a real girls' night out in exchange for her damning intel on Dilton. Give it up, lady. Made it sound like it's like some sort of they kidnapped her. She wanted to go. They became friends. It was all good. Number 6, The Taking of Sector 0123. Once again, not to say that the main story is bad or anything like that, but I just like this whole story a lot better in comparison. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, or if you liked the main story better in Green Lantern. The Taking of Sector 0123 is a story centered around Green Lantern Jessica Cruz, who in the wake of losing her powers was left stranded on a Green Lantern base. Now, this base is solid and technological, not a construct, so fortunately, she still has her base after everything went dark, but she is left to defend it and keep it operational all on her own, which proves especially terrifying when 3 Yellow Lanterns show up. Without her powers, Jessica must rely on her willpower and training alone to defend herself and the station. The Taking of Sector 0123 is written by Ryan Caddy with art by Sam Basri and colors by Hi-Fi. Number 5, Prophetess. As much as I actually enjoy the main story here, the Justice League story, Justice League Dark seems to have come out on top in comparison with their story, Prophetess. This story is the side story featured in Future State Justice League and gives us a version of the future where our magical team has disbanded and now must be brought back together in order to save more than just the world. The team needs to join together once more to defeat Merlin, who threatens to take all of magic for his own, leaving everything and everyone decimated in his rise to ultimate power. Reluctantly, everyone joins up together, finding one another, leaving many mysteries still to be uncovered as we see how much time has changed, not just the individual heroes, but the team's dynamic as well. Prophetess is written by Ram V with art by Marcio Takara and colors by Marcello Maialo. Number 4, Outsiders. If you are in need of more badass katana moments, in fact, some of the most badass katana moments, at least in Future State, look no further than The Outsiders. This story is about a team of heroes who band together, who help to get people safely outside of Gotham to a place where they can live freely once more without the magistrate controlling them and their way of life with an iron fist. The team consists of Signal, a reluctant katana, and joining them in issue number 1, Black Lightning. Black Lightning as well is another big reason to read the comic, as he sees a massive power upgrade here and is just a delightful character to read besides. So if you don't want to read it for Katana, read it for Black Lightning. Either way, you're not going to be disappointed. Number 3, Midnighter Future State. If you came to Future State, Superman, Worlds of War for some epic fighting, then this story has you covered. It features the often overly violent Midnighter who lives up to his name here, but I would say not in a way that is like overly gratuitous with the violence. The level of violence artistically rendered by Gleb Melnikov here is just right on the mark, in my opinion. It features Midnighter also initially on War World, following the trail led by a mystery digital voice on a mission to save all life on planet Earth, apparently. Pretty epic, right? And just wait till you get the reveal at the end, oh my goodness. And then you're still definitely gonna need to read the next issue. Midnighter is written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad with colors by Jordi Belair. Number 2, Nubia in Future State. If this story isn't better, it's at least on the level of the main story, Immortal Wonder Woman, which is also awesome, and it needs to be featured and celebrated here, so that's what we're gonna do. Basically, if there is one takeaway from Future State, it's that Wonder Women rule, and basically we need all of them to stick around moving forward when we do go back to DC's regularly scheduled programming, Nubia included. For those who are unfamiliar with the character, Nubia was introduced in the comics as Diana's long-lost twin sister, and has played multiple roles in the comics over the years, and over the course of multiple revamps to her character. She's been a hero, an enemy, a competitor, and an ally, and in Future State we are definitely continuing down that hero path for her, which I love. This story, written by L.L. McKinney, features Nubia taking on the villain Grail, with stunning art by Aletha Martinez and Mark Morales, and colors by Emilio Lopez. Seriously, both the stories in that book just look so good. Love it. Basically, get Immortal Wonder Woman. Just get it and read it and love it and keep it forever. Also, who's excited for that Nubia series that's coming out? Because that's the thing that's gonna happen. Number 1, Batgirls. I think this one actually might be my favorite story in general. Batgirls is an awesome story featured in the next Batman, written by Vita Ayala with art by Anique and colors by Trish Mulvihill. In this Future State, we get to catch up with our Batgirls, Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. It's a hard one to talk about because I don't want to ruin the story's intrigue, which for me was a big draw, just catching up with where our Batgirls are and what they have been up to in the future. Batman is believed dead by many, but the Bat family still has hope. Infiltrating the Magistrate's prison facilities, Cassandra Cain is on a mission to find Batman, who she believes is actually being held prisoner somewhere deep inside the facility. However, things get a little heated when she runs into Stephanie Brown, now known as Patch, who went a different route in the wake of Bruce's disappearance. What are some of your favorite Future State side stories? Do you prefer when things take a darker turn in stories that take place in the future? Or do you like having that bright promise of hope in a better world? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.